Hello guys, my name is Unknown01, that's what I go by on RecRoom. I have about, let's say, 5 years of experience with CB1 and CB2, but just CB1. CB2, I started experimenting with it when it first came out. I took a year break and then I came back to it. I have teach myself how to use CB1 myself, and I have teach myself how to use CB2 myself as well. There's some things I've looked on YouTube, but everything else, or for the most part, I have teached myself, and if I can do it, I believe you can do it as well. Now, I'm 19, I started playing RecRoom as you can see on my shirt 2018. I have loved this game since I started playing it on the PS4 VR. I love coding, and it's a way to pass time and show how much I actually know how to do things. I won't say too much because I already made this too long, but I'm just gonna put y'all in the video and hopefully you enjoy and you understand. I'm gonna say it now, and I also say it at the end of the video. If you don't understand something and you need help, add me on Discord. I will teach you how to do anything. Add me on RecRoom, send me a chat in there. We can figure out a time and I will teach you or do this thing for you. Right. So you wanna make a simulator game? It's simple. Alright, these are the ships that you are going to need. For here, you're going to need those on the screen as of currently. You're also going to need all of these right here. And you're also going to need these right here. And everything here. We are going to start with something simple. We are going to be wiring stuff together. This is for a simulator with a bag capacity. Now, what we are going to do is delete the first if ship and equal to ship. We don't need those. I forgot to delete them. Now that we have this, we're going to wire the unused to the if ship. Then the result of the greater or equal to the condition, and we are going to wire the if ship all the way up to the versus food, the else ship to versus food at the bottom. After you have made those wires, you're going to wire the output of the food, which is your capacity, in the bag as of currently, to the first value of add, the sum to the input of food, and on the add, we are going to change that and we are going to add a 1, because it's going to add by 1 every time we click it. We are going to grab the food, the output of it, and connect it to the A on greater or equal. Then we're going to grab the output of capacity and connect it to the B. Now it's going to check if our back capacity as of currently, if it has reached 20. If it has, it's going to set it back down to what it was, which would be our back capacity. I just forgot to wire those. Capacity to the food capacity, those two together. And in the case we haven't reached the back capacity, it's gonna add 1 to our capacity in that case. We're going to wire the output of the food to the toString and the result to the text, and the red one of food to set text. And now, every time we click this, it's going to show us how much our back capacity is as of currently. To make this work with the multiplier, if you are wanting to do that, we are going to wire the output of the multiplier below where it says add. And that is it. Now it's going to take whatever multiplier we have and it's going to add it with our current amount, and the sum is going to go up to our food. Since we have a multiplier of 2, it's going to give us 2 per click. Now let's work with the magic of the multiplier. What we are going to do, we're going to connect the unused to the first if variable, the result to the condition, and the output of the money to the A. B is going to be how much the upgrade cost. We're going to make it 20 for now. You can always increase or decrease the price up to your choice. We're going to wire the then ship to the money and the else ship to the player shows subtitle. We're going to wire the local player to player who used, and we are done with the player show subtitle. Now, if the player has the money, it's going to go to the first variable subtract and the difference back into money. The second value being how much it will take away, which is 20 because it costs 20 to get it. After we have done that, we are going to wire the output of the money to the multiplier. We are going to wire the output green one, which is green on my screen, to the add variable, the sum to the input of the multiplier, and the add is going to be 1. You can always increase it depending on how much the upgrade costs, and the more you go. Now that we have that, we are going to wire the multiplier to the other player showed subtitle, which is going to say that we bought it, the local player back to player who used it, and the multiplier to string, and the result to the text. And after we have bought the multiplier, it's going to set the text. So now, currently I have 71 money, and it costs 20. So if I buy it, my multiplier is 2, it's gonna go to 3. And my money should go down by 20 to 51. I buy it, it tells me it was bought on my screen. My money went to 51, multiplier to 3. I still have enough for 2 more purchases, so I'm gonna buy it twice. My money went to 11, and the multiplier is 5. Since I don't have enough, it's gonna tell me not enough, and as you can see with the wires, it's only going to the else ship, which is telling me not enough. Let's go with a simple one. The selling option. This is where you would sell how much you have in your bag for money. We're going to wire the unused to the if ship. And like always, the result to the condition. Now, we're gonna get the output of food and connect it to A, and then we're going to edit it greater or equal to 1. That way, we can only sell if we have at least 1 on our bag or capacity. Now, if it's greater or equal, then since it's true, we're gonna wire the then ship to the money, or the money to the input of the add, the output to there. And now we're going to wire the food at the bottom. So what it's going to do is once we interact, we have at least 1 in our food, which we have 20. It's going to go into the add. It's gonna add 11, which we have right now, money, plus 20 is our inventory, which makes 31. And then it's going to reset our food to 0 so we can collect again. So let's try this real quick. We have 11, I interact, and now I have 31, and my food went to 0. Meaning that I can interact with this now, and since we have a multiplier of 5, it's going up by 5. And I can't get any more, because like we said, it's going more than the greater or equal to. If you want it so it multiplies the money by your multiplier, we're going to do the same thing, but a little different. This time, we're gonna wire the food at the bottom, or the multiplier at the bottom, and the food at the top. It's going to multiply how much we have by 5, and the product is gonna go to add. We're gonna put the add at the bottom, and the money at the top. It's gonna add 100 to our $31, and the sum back to money, and everything else stays the same. And if I sell right now, my money should go to 131, which it did. Since I don't have anything, by the way, it is going to go with the else ship, which doesn't do anything. Now we're gonna go to where we would buy our capacity for our bag. We're gonna wire the unused to the if ship, the result to the condition, and the capacity to A. If our capacity is equal to or greater to 20, which would be our second bag upgrade, which I currently have, then it's not gonna let us get this upgrade because we don't want to downgrade. Otherwise, if our capacity is less than 20, which the starting capacity should be 10 at least, or whatever you want, it is going to go to the if ship. And in this condition, it's going to check if our money is greater or equal to how much it's going to cost, which is going to be 20 once again. If the result is true, then go to the money, output to input, and it's going to subtract how much it costs, which would be 20 once again. Then from the money, it's going to set our HUD element max value to 20, which is the bar that fills it up, and then it's gonna set the capacity to 20. This is just extra stuff. It's pretty much a reset. Now, The prompt local player, you can put whatever you want in the text. We're going to wire this like that, and it's going to prompt the player if their response, which we are going to put, is equal to yes, which we would put down here. And are you sure? We tell them to type yes capitals, and on equals we put yes. If it's equal, then it is going to reset our multiplier to 1 and the capacity to 10. And now, in order to activate this if, we're going to connect the complete to the if ship. So now, if I were to click on this, it's gonna send me a notification. I didn't put anything yet, but let's suppose I type yes. I did, and as you can see there, my multiplier is 1 and my capacity 10. Now, as you can see, my capacity as of currently is 10, meaning that this equation here is false. Before we get this working, we have one more thing to do before it's actually fully working. It looks like a lot, but it's very simple. Now, this ship right here where it says mult, it is the game HUD element ship. That is the ship that we're gonna need, depending on how many things you want on your screen to display their money and anything like that. What we are going to do after we spawn them in, you would click on them and you would go to configure, and you would see that you can change their name and you can change the max and the minimum HUD value. Now, that capacity there, it's so depending on how much they have, depends how much it's going to fill it up, the square in their box where it shows how much they have. So if you want, you can leave that without touching it, it doesn't matter. All you need to do is give it a name so you know what it is, and set a position for it, a name for the icon, and a color if you wish. Once you have done all of that 3 times, you're going to get the other ships, and once you have everything set up like I have right here, we're gonna start simple. This first is the mult, which is the multiply ship. Second one is the money, and the last one is the food, which is our bag capacity. We want to display to the player how much they have on their bag as of currently, how much money they have, and what's their current multiplier. Now, this is an event receiver ship. You're going to grab an event receiver ship, spawn it in, configure it, and scroll all the way down on the selected tab to update 30 Hz. You're only going to need one, and it's going to trigger all of this together. Now, before we wire the event ship and the set HUD element together, we are going to connect everything else because we don't want to hear the wrong noise. It would be annoying. For the mult HUD, which is my multiplication HUD for me, we're going to wire it to all the targets here, to those 3. Now, after we have wired it to those 3, we are going to wire the end of the element enabled to the start of the element label, and same thing with the element label to the element value. Now, the end of the HUD element value, we're going to wire it to the if player is local, and the get local player to the player tab on the is player local, and to is local to the leaderboard set player stat. You're only going to do these 3 ships on the right, the local ship, if player local, and leaderboard set local player stat, if you want a leaderboard. Otherwise, you can ignore that, and instead of connecting it over there, you're gonna set the HUD element value to the second row of the set HUD element value for your money. Otherwise, connect it there. And if you do it this way, you're gonna connect the leaderboard set local player stat all the way to set HUD element enabled, and you're going to do the same thing over again for the second row and the last row, which is all the way up here. Do not forget that once you make the HUD game element, you're going to wire it to the target, which is what is going to show on the screen, and don't forget to set a location. And once we have that, we are good to test out our inventory capacity buyer. For the value, we are going to connect the multiplier to the value of where it says HUD element value. Since the first one I did down here is multiplier, we're gonna get the multiplier ship cloud variable that we did and connect it there. For the second one, we're gonna get the money and connect it to the set HUD element value on the second one, since it's about money. And the last one, the food one, there, which will show the capacity on the screen. Now we're back here at the capacity and set HUD element value. Since this is for the capacity, we're going to wire the target all the way up to where we put the food connected to that HUD. And now we can see that my current capacity is 10, and this should set it to 20. It's going to target the HUD element on my screen for capacity. Now, if I go with this, I have enough money, I believe. Yep. I click it, everything goes through. My capacity is 20 right now, and since it's 20, if I try, it's not gonna let me go through. And now, if I interact with this right here, what gives me the capacity, I should be able to go all the way up to 20. Yep, and now I can't do anything else. Now, let's go over what we made. We made it so whenever we click on this, it'll show us the money and it'll increase our money. We also made it so we can buy a multiplier and it'll increase it and it will multiply the money with the multiplier, meaning that depending on how much money we have, it's going to increase by 2. We also made a sell so we can sell how much we have, and we made it so it multiplies how much multiplier we have by the money, so we get more. And we made a capacity buyer, so we increased how much bag capacity we can get. And to not forget, we also made an HUD element that shows on our screen how much we have of each valuable. Now for the leaderboard, it's very simple. Just configure the leaderboard. Make sure to put only 2 stats, or 3 if you want to show the rebirths as well, or whatever you want to show. Put the name for it, and on this ship right here, you're going to set the channel to the corresponding one. Since this down here is for multiplier, and I made channel 1 for multiplier on the leaderboard, I'm going to set it to 1. And then the leaderboard set decided value. Since it's channel 2, we're gonna set it to 2 because that's where I show how much money people have. And now the value is empty. You're right about that. There, we're going to wire the money to the value, and down here the multiplier to the value. That way, it shows and it implements into the leaderboard how much we have, and it keeps it updated. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, I want to thank you for watching my video, and I hope you learned something. If you didn't learn anything or you're still confused about something, you are free to add my Discord. It's on the description. Or you can add me on RecRoom. I will also have my display name on the description. And I will help you if you have any concerns or any questions. I will help with anything. I prefer you add me on Discord since it's simpler to communicate, but anything works and I will try my best to help you. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you learned something new.